So in 2021, as my New Year's resolution, I set my mind on learning how to play the guitar. It's been a dream of mine to be able to play an instrument for as long as I can remember. So I bought one, I downloaded a popular guitar learning app, and I even learned a couple of songs with YouTube tutorials. The first few weeks were really exciting. I'd practice every day and even played some simple songs. But as you can probably guess, as the weeks went by, my motivation waned as I found myself swamped with work and life responsibilities. I wasn't practicing every day anymore, and I couldn't see the fast progress that I had at the beginning. Even though I had it clear to myself that my goal was to learn to play the guitar, I didn't know why as soon as that initial excitement disappeared, my objective seemed so far away. Without realizing it, I had set my goal all wrong.
Which we call wish, outcome, obstacle, and then the plan, this WOOP strategy. You need to sit down these 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's a WOOP exercise lasts. You need to do. You can't just say, I take a pill and then everything is fine. So you need to do this exercise for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you need to practice it. And once you practice it, you can do it actually much, much quicker too.
So Happy New Year's! This time of year, most of us are thinking about all the things that we want to achieve. My guest today is psychology professor Gabrielle Oettingen. She has more than 20 years researching the science of motivation, and she'll walk us through the strategy she created called WOOP and why it is one of the most effective empirical methods to actually achieve your goals and desires. We want to help you to go beyond the classroom. So every week here on Real Life English, we guide you on your learning journey with lessons that take you from feeling like a lost and insecure English learner to being a confident and natural English speaker. Does that sound like what you want for your English? Then join our community by hitting that subscribe button and the bell down below. So Gabrielle, why is it that simply imagining what you want to accomplish or even creating a plan is not always the best option?
You are probably more successful if you actually use WOOP as a strategy to sustain your New Year's resolutions on an everyday basis. So if you actually use this little strategy of, you need to spend 5 minutes or so a day, or maybe depending on how many WOOPs you want to do, maybe 5 minutes every day. It's not so much where you are really quiet and calm and slow and do the imagery strategy. And if you do that, then you should be much more successful to keep up these New Year's resolutions, because it helps you to understand what New Year's resolution is actually important to me. Do I just say, I should jog more, or I should eat more healthy, or do you really mean it? Because that WOOP will help you to understand what is it. Do I really want to learn French next year? Yeah, I really want to learn French. This will be so nice. Okay, so I get it through a WOOP exercise. I would feel fantastic because I always wanted to learn French. And my best outcome would be finally I can speak in their own language to people in France. It would be so nice. Okay, what is my obstacle in the way? What is my obstacle? Okay, what is my obstacle in me? Actually, my obstacle in me is that I have some research projects which take a lot of time and which are very, very important to me that I still want to, kind of complete them. So that's standing in the way. My research, my commitment to my research projects, and then commitment to teaching. It takes a lot of time. So this obstacle, is that for me surmountable? Not really. I want that. I want to finish the research, and I want to teach in a kind of good way. So then maybe I need to postpone or let go from my dream of speaking French with the people in France. Maybe, I need to use my English for that. So you can use this mental contrasting strategy not only to really go for it. Okay, now I enroll in a French course. but also to let go. No, this is not what I really want at the moment, because there are other things which really have clear preference. So now suddenly when I look at that, I don't have a bad conscience anymore. The whole time that I don't speak French, I can say, okay, I really thought it through. I'm sorry, I don't have a bad conscience anymore because I have something in my life which is just more important.
That probably, it helps you to avoid so much disappointment down the line, because I think that tends to be the biggest letdown, right? Is just that you really think that this year is the year that you're going to get in shape, or that you're going to learn French, or that you're going to become a better cook or something like that. But you're not maybe so realistic about the other demands you have in life or the other priorities. So it really helps you to prioritize, to see, is this something that right now I can fit in with other things that are really important to me, or do I need to leave it for when I have a bit more time?
And all these kind of, these feelings of disappointment, regret, and all these having a bad conscience that I didn't do this and that and the other thing, they free me up now. So by not having them anymore, I can really sort of focus on the other projects, on the, I don't know, research or or teaching or whatever I want to do. And that is really sort of also emotionally just a big relief, because I don't need to kind of hang in with these kind of self-guilt and the self-blame that I didn't do what I wanted to do.
So now that you've seen just how powerful Whoop can be, you may be wondering, how do I do it? Well, before we dive into that, I want you to take a moment to think about what your next English language learning goals would be. Take notes and keep them near. We'll come back to that at the end of the video. So in the beginning, Gabrielle mentioned that the strategy she created, Whoop, stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. Let's see how each of these parts work. Wish.
Think about what you really want. What is it that you really want? And then they might come up and say, I want to drive a Ferrari. But then when you ask them, what is it that you really want? They will get in touch with their needs and say, well, maybe I want to have more recognition, or I want to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, just what you said. So that's important, to get down then, look behind the wall and really see what is then down there, the actual need.
So it's important to understand that really concretely, what is it that's missing from you? So it's interesting, I used to do an exercise with some of my students where, because in the same thing you'll hear from a lot of learners, people learning English, they say, I want to be able to speak English fluently, because that's kind of something that they've been told their whole life is you need to speak English fluently. And so that tends to be the wish that most people have. But when you dig deeper, it's generally because of something, it might be because they want to be able to get a better job. They might want to go live in the United States or the UK or something like that. They might just want to be able to travel and, be able to interact with people without having cultural barriers, without having language barriers. And so I used to do an exercise where I would have them ask themselves the question why, at least 5 times. So really digging deeper into, okay, you want to be fluent in English, but let's get into what's the very specific reason. And people would get to all sorts of different things. It might be, I had one student who, it is because he wants to get a better job, but it's because he wants to provide a better life for his kids. Or you had another student that wanted to be able to connect with other people and wanted to have friends from all over the world, not just be limited to their the small town that they lived in. So it's kind of interesting when you do that, you might see that what you want is not actually what you really want deep down. One of the things that's really interesting there too, I think, is that oftentimes maybe you think you want a Ferrari or something like that, which would be, for a lot of people, very difficult to obtain. It's very expensive. But if you do that deeper digging, then you might find out that actually you need something simpler. It doesn't need to be something, that grandiose to be able to fill that deeper need. Outcome.
Then my wish would be to have these 20 minutes. So how nice would it be if, in the next 24 hours, I would be able to say, okay, I play the guitar. And then you feel out, really, what is the best outcome? How would you feel? Relief, or happiness, or pride, or accomplishment, or so. Feel it out. Okay, you need to say, I can't, okay? And then imagine that, so that this really kind of glues you to the sky of learning guitar.
Obstacle.
You also discover what is in your way and what has been in your way in yourself, sometimes for years. But because we usually don't ask ourselves, where do we want to go and what is in our way, we never looked at it that way, and we never discovered what the obstacle really is. So it's a really fun discovery in terms of what do I really want and what is it in me that stands in the way.
One of the really fascinating things there too is that obstacle, it doesn't necessarily need to be something tangible like that. We talked earlier about diet plans, for example, that you're going to see a piece of cake in your refrigerator and want to eat it. It doesn't need to be just something that's actually like tangible, but it can also be something that is deeper inside of you that could be an emotional reaction to something that you can actually use this to, in a sense, reprogram how you might react to something or the emotion that you might feel in that moment. Plan.
Then we sort of said, okay, we complement now mental contrasting with another strategy, which is called in the literature implementation intentions, or if-then plans. And in the context of mental contrasting, these if-then plans come in the form of if, and then you imagine the obstacle, then I will, behavior to overcome the obstacle plan.
I truly hope that you benefited from today's lesson. I can't wait to read all of your upcoming plans. Take a moment to whoop them and share them in the comments down below. Here's mine. So I want to be able to play an entire song on the guitar because I love music and want to be able to make it. If I get really busy with work, then I will not allow myself to have dinner until I play at least 5 minutes. Now you can use the same model to write yours. I want to, because, if, then I will. Now don't just watch this video and do nothing. I highly urge you to take just 5 to 10 minutes and do it now. If you need extra help, Gabrielle has all sorts of free resources like an app and her website with tutorials and downloads. I've linked both down in the description below. After that, why don't you take a look at this lesson Andrea made where she shares her favorite free resources to learn English. I'm sure it can help you with your plans for 2022. Aw, yeah.
If you've always wanted to speak English fluently or make English a fun part of your day, but you can't seem to find the right resources to make it happen, then you're going to get a lot out of today's lesson. I'll share with you my favorite free websites, apps, and activities that help learners take their English to the next level.